the topics tonight, we're going to be discussing should parents be blamed for having poor parenting skills if they never had the opportunity to learn anything different? Should we or anyone else blame parents for not having the requisite skills to impart to the children? Are parents expected to automatically learn these skills, automatically have these skills? And if they don't have them according to societal standards, because every society have their own standards, if they don't, according to societal standards, don't have them, is society morally authorized to punish these parents or to criticize them if they were never provided with any opportunity to learn these skills? That is one topic number one. And I have a lot to say on that. I'm sure you'd have a lot to say on that too. If you want to jump in the program, join the live and discuss. I welcome you. Let's have a discussion on that, because I have my own opinions on that. I was talking to a sister earlier. Someone sent me a message on Facebook and asked, George, what do you mean by poor parenting skills? How do you describe, classify, what is poor parenting skills? So that is the basis that question was asked to launch me into discussion, but I didn't bite. So I said I'll wait until the program to answer the question, right? Catherine said, but that was my sixth time in what? In each expo is, each is different. This was the most challenging because winter caught me this time. Also, you were never caught in winter. No kidding. So you had a London winter, UK winter, and UK winter is nothing to shout about, eh? It's not that cold though, right? It's not that cold. It's nothing to read, but it's uncomfortable, dampened. Yeah, Catherine, I'm so sorry, man. But the winter adds some excitement to your stay. So now you have a chance to feel what snow is like. Oh boy, it makes you act like a little girl again, man, to play in the snow and all that. Yeah, so you need to come on the program next Thursday, Catherine, and tell us about your winter experience. I'd love to hear about it, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a different. I wish everybody in Timbers never had a chance to spend at least a whole winter season in any country that's cold. Spend one winter season and go back home. Boy, I tell you, we'll have a different country. The attitude in the country will change drastically. Your approach to things will change drastically. Your approach to work and everything will change drastically. I'm telling you, if everyone has a chance to experience at least one season of winter, if I was in charge of a government, I would give everyone a chance. I'll pay the passage. I'll say, like, this year we're going to send 2,000 Vincentians to pick any country of your choice. You must have at least some relatives there to take care of you and all the expenses and all that. But we are paying a passage. But you got to pay for your own upkeep, right? Pay for your own upkeep. We're going to pay for you to be there for the entire winter season. Boy. So that will bring about a tremendous change in the mentality, in the approach, in the attitude of Vincentians. Right? It's a good investment for government to make, eh? And we know if we send away 2,000 people to spend winter in the country, at least maybe 500 might come back. Right? 500 might come back home, and everything is good, and those 500 will have a different attitude, and the other 1,500 that stayed, at least they will be able to send back remittances. So the country will really, really benefit. And the unemployment problem would be solved too, because if people moving out, it creates more room, more employment. They leave their jobs and so on, so people have more chances to get jobs and all that. Yeah, so folks, next election, vote for me, and I will implement this one campaign promise, all right? Hey, good night, Brother Alan. Alan says some people experience one winter and decide to stay. Well, that's the whole point. Alan, I'm coming back to that. Let me read what Catherine says. Manchester is always cold, windy, and below minuses, mind you. Yeah. Winter's supposed to be below minuses, Catherine. Yeah, I think we should come to middle minuses. Yeah, man. Even right now in the spring, it's a spring, Catherine, and Montreal is all minuses except for this afternoon, all minus 10, minus 6, minus 7, minus, and it's spring. It's spring. So I understand. You have a very interesting remark here, and it says some people experience one winter and decide to stay. And that's the point. I'm going to send away 2,000 people. That's my campaign promise. I'm going to send away 2,000 Vincentians to pick the country of choice where you have people, where you have family, to take care of you and your expenses and so on, right? So the government will just pay your passage. So if 500 out of 2,000 decide to stay, that's good. That's good because those 500, they're going to find work, whether legal or illegal, eventually they're going to find work, and they're going to send back money to their family back in St. Vincent. You see, remittances. And those who come back, they're going to have a change of attitude completely. They're going to see life differently. So see, so I think there's something we can recommend, tell the government to do, put it in the manifesto. Yeah, this year's election year, right? So talk to the government ministers. It's not too late. Yeah, boy, that's a nice campaign promise. I'm going to send away 2,000 Vincentians. They're going to do it for next winter. So they have time to get the money. 2,000 Vincentians, 2,000 multiplied by, I don't know what the passage is. The airfare might be maybe 2,000 ECD dollars, and so on. Yeah. Send them off. Canada, England, America, Denmark, I don't know where, anywhere that have ice, Greenland, anywhere that have cold, send them there. Yeah, they'll spend a good full winter. Send them like in November, right? So they can ease into the winter. And the time will be up. Give them 6 months away. 6 months. 6 months. That's it. So, right. So again, let me welcome you to the program, and we're going to get into our discussion. So, folks, let's talk, man. Let's talk. You all know, we all know how things are going in St. Vincent. We all know things are going throughout the Caribbean. Parents are losing grip on their children, right? They're losing the grip because the influence outside the home is so strong. It's so strong, right? It's so strong. It is contradicting what a lot of parents are saying at home. That's one thing. The other thing is some parents, their parental skills are so questionable. It's creating problems, right, for other parents and other children, because when you have questionable parenting skills, right, and children are doing things, they're not going into law-abiding citizens. They're causing a disruption. They're causing the boat to off balance a little bit, right? The boat is not balanced, so things are not right, and so the country's not going right. Law and order gone to the window. People are cold and callous and get more and more violent, and all of them disregard for order and authoritative figures and so on. And then when you trace it back to the home, a lot of parents, boy, are left on their own to do what they think is best to bring their children up. And because of the hard economic times, a lot of parents are struggling, man, to make ends meet. And the ends are getting fall apart, eh? To make ends meet. They're struggling to make ends meet, so they don't have time to really pay attention to the discipline of children. They're trying to get food on the table. So a lot of times they ignore what the parental duties, the other parental duties. Not because they want to. Sometimes it's just one parent in the home. You don't have the balance of having two parents. You have one parent in the home struggling, fighting to bring food into the house on the table. You don't have time to have kids with the homework. You have time to deal with other matters and so on. You don't have time. And those who have the time don't have the know-how, don't have the information to impart to the children, because they themselves were never taught anything, because they became parents when they were children. A lot of parents still became parents when they were yet children. Eh? So you have nothing adult to say to the children. They have nothing to impart to the children, because they themselves were children. So we had children making children. Boy, that's complicated. and other people out there pointing an accusing finger at them, saying that they are very bad parents. They should lock them away and throw the key, melt the key in one, because the parenting skills is so terrible. You know, they should really lock them away. You know, but really, should we really lock them away if they never had the lungs in trained or schooled? Should we really lock them away? I can have somebody on the line. But oh, hello.
Hello, George. How are you doing?
But can hey, well, sorry, I am hearing you, right? I won't be able to see you, okay?
Oh, okay, no
But
problem.
everybody else has seen you.
Go ahead,
right?
you go ahead and make your comment,
No,
and then you can come.
no, everybody has seen you, right? Except me.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
Like, anybody, well, let me thank you for coming on, Mike. You know, this topic is can be very delicate too, eh?
Well, thank you for the invitation. Let me say
Yeah, I know you shoot from the hip, right? I know you shoot from the hip, so I try to get people who shoot from the hip, you know? Yeah, shoot from the hip, man. Good night, Sister Rose. Rose Johnson is on.
You know, if I could only give you my view from my perspective,
Yeah, I want two things from you, right? One, well, because we have two topics, right? One with the parent kids, and the other one is kind of single woman, mother, raise a man, a boy to be a man. So you can fire away. Which one you want to tackle first? Go ahead, my brother.
well, the one we talking about the parent and in terms of parenting.
Yeah.
One of the things at least we constantly see is as society change, there's always we as those of us who grew up in the older generation like to hold on to our old way of life, the way we see things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And hold ourselves to certain standard and certain, norms and belief systems and what we think at these family life supposed to be. And when we see those kind of standards are not being kept and those sort of values are not being upheld, we throw our hands in the air and we like, oh, well, people are not this and people are not that, not knowing that at least all your, our older generation also was faced with this issue. But the only difference is we had a society where we were one, where the community took care of the kids, where it was a community responsibility. Well, we from St. Vincent, it was a community responsibility to take care of the kids. And so it was not something at least that really said is nobody's there to take care of the kids, because the whole community take care of the kids. You were disciplined by the whole community. You could talk to admit your kids down the road and they're doing something wrong. You get up and you discipline them. Sometimes you're allowed to beat them. Well, beating is not something at least we advocate now. You were able to discipline the kid, and if you go home and you tell your parent that happened, you probably give you another discipline. Discipline.
But what has changed? What has changed?
Society really has changed. The focus is no longer on the community. The focus is basically on individualism.
Yeah.
This sense of individualism is what really opened our eyes and say, you know what happened? We point our fingers at those who are less fortunate. We used to have that back in the days, but it wasn't so, because as I said, everybody was taking care of the family and so on. But these days, because it's so individualism, there's such this individualism and this individualistic kind of attitude now in society. For example, if I see your kid down the road and I try to talk to your kid, he go home and ask me, you come down, boy, what you talk to my kid for? You talk to my kid not to do this. We tell him, back in the days, that was something that was normal. If you hit somebody kid today, show what they think of either shoot you or find some violence against you without finding out whatever. So this is the kind of stuff that really changed in society.
Is there any reason to hit anybody as a child?
But why we used to do it, and why, if that's the case, why the older community used to do it then? The
the
question
question didn't mean that it was correct.
the question remains, George. What the question is remain: are we as society have the right to look out for each other or just for ourselves?
We have the right to look out for each other. I would say, but a lot of things that we used to do back then, because we didn't know better. Right? So we did a lot of things because that's all we knew.
Right.
Right? We didn't have access to any other learning, teaching tools. Right? That's all we knew. So, so I think back then, parents could have gotten a pass.
But now we are more intelligent. Now that I think now is the time that is we should have even kept that spirit. But the more we get more intelligent, the more we become more advanced, the more we get our degrees, the more we segregate ourselves. Because the way our society is set up, it's always the people with the money separate themselves, the other people who's in one particular group is there. So that society kind of norm, that way of perceiving things. Once we start to see, okay, the rich people up there and they're all by themselves and they're taking care of the children and they're doing that and they're doing that. With the middle class come up and they'll be like, oh, they're looking at the rich people and they'll be like, oh, well, they're up there. So then once we start making a little money, once we start to get educated, we elevate ourselves to that. And then it creates a whole bunch of issue and a whole bunch of problem because we lost that whole communal thing that we as the lower part of society, let's call ourselves the lower part of society, that held the society in place. We start to look at those who like over there and in their own little world, the kings and the queens, nobody's supposed to be, you have to bow down to them or what. And that's the kind of thing. So we gravitate from that. So when the middle class and the lower class people, I put that in quotation, walk away from that standard and that value expectation, it opens up our eyes and we start to look at each other. Look at George children and them. George is a single parent, for example. George's mother is a single mother. Look at how I take care of children and them. She doing this and she not doing that. Instead of we say, we as a society, let us keep the focus on the kids. Let's take care of the kids. We're not able to help her financially, but let us keep that momentum of guidance for the kids and the social standard that we set. But all of that is part of the road. So.
You see, but Kenny, okay, before I answer, let me say good night, Adina. Adina never says on, and Rochelle Parsons Matthews, good night to you. Kenny, different people today, because of we have so-called learned people in a lot of times who have their own opinions about child rearing and so on, and they live in the same society that you're speaking of, right? If the society come together, you're going to have different opinions and styles clashing, parental styles clashing, right? Because it's going to make it harder for the society to really know how to embrace a child, because back then, everybody was more like singing from the same song sheet, right? But today, we have different people singing from a different song sheet, different song book, different everything, different choir, right? And how is it join together and raise a child without the child getting conflicting messages as to what really he or she should be doing or not be doing? That's
because we society that, as you said, we become learned and we become like intellectuals. We become like, and then we start to look down on other people, who at least who grew up in our own society, and basically, and that's you see. One of the things at least we gotta always look at is the way society is evolving, especially as I always go back and say, the way we grow up. People is like, oh, well, nobody do this. It's because we become so intellectual. We become like so far away from our old parents had the standard that we have set. And we come so intellectual now that every little thing, we are so critical of everybody else. If you're not doing kids a certain standard, if you're not doing a certain things for your kids, all of that used to happen back in the days. But I think what happened now is that we have a situation where we have kids are making kids, no direction, no guidance, no society to back them. whether socially, morally, financially, or anything else. So they become frustrated. Some of them not even take it out on their kids. And we as society, we see that and we say nothing. We sit there and we blame at least,
but
you know.
kids are making kids, right? But where does society come in? Who should be responsible for teaching these kids who are now mothers how to parent their children? Should somebody teach them? Does the state, for example, have a responsibility, right, to teach young mothers or inexperienced mothers, or teenage mothers or whoever it is, right? Teach them how to be responsible parents. Do you
Okay.
think the state has to have some kind of a stake in that?
I don't think that what my question is like, we always talk about society,
Mm-hmm.
but what is society and what is the role of society? Is it that as society we just call it what society is, just a group of people just living inside of it, or is it society is a group of people, like a family sharing resources and responsibility and so on that like we always say society, but what does that mean?
What society?
What is a society? What is the responsibility of a society? And we have lost that. From this generation, we have lost what that meant. And we always don't use the word society, but society to me, from the definition that I get from society, regardless of what, we have to look out for one another. We have to support each other, whether it's not financially, maybe not financially, but we have to support each other socially and especially when it comes to raising the next generation, the next
But I agree with you now. But here the problem is, I'm agreeing with you now, but here the problem is, members of society, me and you, the ordinary Joe and Jane, they're on the severe strain,
well,
right?
well that's
The socio-economic issues they have to deal with. They can't afford to focus on what you guys think that they should be focusing on. They're distracted by real life, right? Real life issues. They have issues dealing with.
and that's when we boil down to the point and say, how could we as society deal and help these people, these single parents who are going through hell, because we know at least many of them are going through hell, how could we help these? It boils back down, because if we, as maybe, let's say, nuclear family, mother and father, we have our kids, and we catching our health, we catching our nene, and then we looking at other people over here, say how could we try to, and look at them and judge them and say, oh, it's just because you don't have a father, or it's just because you don't have a mother. When we ourselves are struggling, we may have that backing of each other to say, okay, then either you discipline or I be the disciplinarian and so on and so forth. But we need, when we talk about society, we have lost that fundamental thing, that fundamental description of what society itself is supposed to be.
Where did it go? Where did it go? See, we lost it, I agree, but where did it go? At what point was it lost? Like, can we identify where it went bad?
It went back, old George, when we, from the middle class, start to aspire to become intellectuals, aspire to become, at least, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
We aspire to become rich, we aspire to acquire wealth and stuff like that. So our focus being taken away from society aspect and become selfish. So because all we're just talking about, oh, I gotta get my education, I gotta go to university, I gotta get my degree, I gotta get a big job, I gotta take care of my family. And that's all the focus, and you hear nothing about society, and you drop everybody right there. So
But that hasn't come from somewhere. These people have to be motivated by something, right? Something is driving them. What did they see? What did they hear? What example are they following? What's the motivating factor for them to be so focused now on getting ahead? So much so that they forget where they come from. They forget the people who they left behind. Now, Susan is saying something very interesting. She says she made 3 points. 1 point she made is that it takes a village to raise a child. 1, she says the community is no longer there. 2, and she says there needs more program. Now, in answering to Suzette, I would say the village is no longer a village, right? It is fragmented, right? And you speak about that. People are not any longer together, right? Because different interests and so on, right? And and there are no communities. So the spirit of the community is no longer there because if you're not together, there's nothing. You're working together, so there's no community spirit. That's gone.
Right.
Right? And you said more programs. What program? So who's supposed to be given the programs?
Well, that's where government at least comes in and should set up at least, we know how government operate and we know how at least, these things actually take place. So we really can't, while government has a part to play in that, I think it boils down to the community.
But
The kind of involvement, the church, the social, the clubs, the people who organize the competitions, all of that, it doesn't encompass one thing. It's a multiplicity of things that you have to take into consideration to make sure that this thing works. One thing alone is not going to happen because depending on the government to institute programs, it would help, maybe financially, in the financial aspect of it. But
listen,
but then at least you have to look at the holistic aspect of it.
the community.
Social worker, at least, there's so many facets to this whole life and to this whole aspect of child. Making that at least
we cannot downplay the importance of structured and proper social programs in any country, right?
Right.
If you want to know how interested the government is, right, in mending or keeping society mended and together, right? Look at how much money they allocate in the budget to social programs. You have a good indication as to, you can do a projection as to where our society is going to be down the road, right? You have to have sound social programs, right? A lot of families, Kenny, are under serious pressure, right? Serious pressure. Kids are going to school without breakfast and lunch. Right?
I'm fully aware of that.
So when a child comes from a home where the parents can't feed them, literally cannot feed them, send them to school to hoping that they will find something to eat at school. Right? And so when your parents in a village share the same experience, you can expect that society, that community, that village to come together and be self-sufficient. And they have issues in themselves.
But it goes back to as well, old George. It goes back to even government has come up with all these programs. It all boils down to you must have people who are responsible, people who are committed, people who see the vision because you could get the best program ever, as the best government program with the best of intention, and you do not have the right people behind of it, and you do not have the society back, the community backing of it. Then one of the things that government, the Caribbean government, I'm not pointing my finger particularly at any government, said one of the things that Caribbean government does implement programs without getting the involvement of the community. Here, what they
head down, head down.
This program, we got this full program, without even asking the community exactly what they want. A community development program with the community in mind, with the community involvement, to really make people feel valued. First of all, it make you feel valuable. It make you feel part of the program, so the program have longer life jeopardy because you are one of the people who are involved in the implementation or the putting together of this program. But that is not already happened. Everything is geared towards gaining votes, and so
I agree with you. I was listening to a program. I was watching on Facebook a program in Barbados just a couple of days ago, right? And apparently they have this program. They go around from parish to parish. I think it's on a monthly basis. Meeting with the community members, right?
Right.
And it's called an ideas forum, right? where they meet and the committee members just give ideas to their ministers, to their representatives.
That's how you tailor a program
Right?
as government.
Give
But
ideas, security.
Australian government, what you look at,
Ideas, right? So it's a bottom-up approach, right? Ideas. Because, for example, like Susan mentioned the mentorship program, important program, right? Mentorship. How many do we have that established intervention at all anywhere?
I can't speak. I can't speak.
I don't know any. I stand corrected, but I don't know any. Who's mentoring who?
I can't say whether there's one or whether it's not.
Right? It have programs where returning residents, returnees, right? Nurses, doctors, social workers, lawyers, they return. How do you get them involved? How do you get them involved in terms of offering information, advice, training, and all that? There's a lot of things that can be done to strengthen the support system that will strengthen each community, right? So when they're working in tandem with the government, giving the funding and so on and all that, that's how you start to get something going, But if people have no money, no job, no whatever, you can't expect me to come to sit down and discuss this with you and to mentor the children and so on and to see. I don't have the time to look after your child. I have 4 children I can't feed, right? I don't have time with your child. If I'm saying I'm under so much pressure, I not hate the children, I love the children to death, but I can't really have time to have issues of my own.
But it boils down to, again, George, as I said, that's community kind of spirit that at least we used to have. That is so fundamental to taking care of the problem that we have with the single parent and the poor problem that they get it. The issue is, how do we get back? Or do you think that at least we would ever get back to that point? The way our society is set up now, it would take at least a lot of work. But the thing is about it, when we have governments, and I say governments, who may focus on just the bigger picture and just make sure that these, this big project here, this project here, whether it's for political gain and the simple things in our society that could bring people together, that could say, okay, then community involvement, community program.
Clubs.
From my experience, if you involve the community, if you involve the community involvement, right, naturally, there's a progression from there. Once it's implemented, you find all the other people coming in, the lawyers, the expatriate who repatriate back home. People become involved because they see the community interest. Once there's community interest and community involvement, people naturally just get involved.
Kenny, and another point is, I've not seen the clarion call to citizens to come back home, right? Retirees to come back home and to show the retirees where they're going to be placed, what role that is cut out for them to play. If you follow what I'm saying, I'm not seeing that emphasis placed on the diaspora in terms of having the diaspora working in tandem with citizens in St. Vincent. Jamaica doing it, the other countries doing it, and successfully so too.
Right. That's just a fraction of what could be done.
I'm saying all these ideas. It has to be a collection
I totally agree. I think we should
a collection of either service clubs. What's been done to all the service clubs? The Rotary and the cadets and the Girl Guides, the Brownies, the Boy Scouts. How
you see where those social organizations is going, right? It's hardly existent. They're hardly existent.
But it can't exist without funding. They need funding. How much funding are they getting?
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
so if we sit here and say we should go back to the way we, at least go back to the old time days, or we should, it's never going to happen. So we have to come up with ways and means of intelligently bring people together and try to help and focus on these single parents who get them involved, support them, provide some kind of mentorship program for their kids or maybe kids across the board, and basically try to see different approach, because going back to the old approach is not really gonna, we don't see how that's gonna work, because some of these kids, some of these parents too, you can't even talk to their kids, you can't even say nothing to their kids. They're ready to even in school,
because they will never school or give a chance to learn new parenting skills, right? How to talk to children, how to basic, how to understand a child when a child is at this stage of its development, what not to say. Look, Grenada is a good example. Grenada is a great example. Grenada has in every week, every 2 weeks, but they have parenting classes trained for parents throughout the country, in every parish, where parents are going to learn how to become good parents.
So the bottom line is that the bottom line, the way I see it, is that we have to create opportunity for these single parents, whether it's job wise, whether it's social, to how to deal with social problem, whether it's just to mentorship problem.
We can't ignore them.
But we see a lot of that, especially in the Caribbean, in St. Vincent. We see not
because I don't figure the stats, but I'm sure Simmons has a whopping number of single parent families. I don't know if I don't have the statistics, so I can't really speak empirically, but I'm sure there's a high number of single parenting families in St. Vincent.
Yeah, when we have a government saying at least, hey, the people in them should get rid because our population is going down, it's like basically what are you doing? Just get kids for kids' sake, and then do what? How do you parent the kids? Is there any program or any assistance program that's available to help single parent when you encourage them to go and have kids? At least how they can't even take care of themselves. How are they going to take care of their thing? So it's a double-edged. The thing is that there's no one fundamental or one thing that at least we could say could cause this.
No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not.
There's a lot of things we have to take into consideration. How do we start?
We start by talking to the people in the community, having meetings, right? Hearing from them. What are your issues?
Right now, these days, to be honest with you, everybody looks to the government to start. Back in the days, it was different. Nobody was totally dependent on the government to start nothing. Everything was started.
No, but it was different. There was a reason for that. It was because people back then, a lot of people back then was self-sufficient.
Correct.
Right? Was self-sufficient. Right? They have the little agriculture stuff going. You have banana farmers. You have this, that, masons, capital. Everybody was doing what they had to do, right, to keep the family afloat. So they don't want to be dependent on government. But things have swung to the change.
Well, no.
Right?
One thing I used to say growing back then, one of the things, we come from an agriculture-based society. Agriculture, because we have one of the richest fertile soil in the Caribbean, hands down. One of the things, at least, farmers used to be doctors, lawyers, teachers, farmers themselves, van drivers. Everybody used to be, it used to be a way of life. It used to be not even like to say at least, it was just a way of life.
Yes.
Like Chippy Brown, Toddy James, all the big guys, and all of them were farmers.
The farmers. Farming was not seen as a low-down profession, occupation.
Just to see what happened up there, and they didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
But that farming and kind of thing, and as I said, all of that is being taken away. So it's like, how do we see farming as one way of reintroducing, at least finding a way financially that would make the country financially stable? To me, yes, and that would help. The other aspect is that the way how we see things today, a lot of people, they don't read. They take that information from certain people, from certain group, and they take that to be the gospel. And not only that, they regurgitate it as if like it's facts. And a lot of things is like people cannot think for themselves.
Oh boy, Kenny, I was seeing conversation with somebody just yesterday. I had the very same conversation. I said to the young lady I was talking to, I said, it's a reason why a lot of people in the country cannot pass comprehension. right? They fail in comprehension. They cannot think, right? The answer is in the passage, but they can't find it, right?
Yeah.
So they depend, we rely on people because Kenny is a good citizen, a good guy. If Kenny says so, I run with what Kenny told me. Kenny told me I have no reason to go back and double check what Kenny said. There's no, I don't want to read. We don't read. We become oral. That is oral tradition, right?
Yeah, we just regurgitate. We just
We repeat
regurgitate.
it. Once we respect somebody, if it's something else, we take the word of the Bible and we run with it and we tell somebody else, and so on. So we give up. We give up on reading and think. We don't think. We don't think anymore, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the things, at least our government has become really too entrenched in the lives of people.
Governments are fed. Government feed and that. They fed themselves on that, right? They exploit that ignorance.
Yeah, government was meant to be so intuitive into people's life and so on and so forth. But it's not only the Caribbean that we see this happen. So we can't say it's a Caribbean thing. We see this now happen in the bigger world now. The bigger world out here, at least. So we see that kind of going on. But your topic is timely and right on point, and I really. But
we have to demand more. We have to demand more of ourselves and from our government representatives, right? We have to demand more. And Susan is saying we need to have a community-driven approach. That is very fundamental.
Well, that's what
right?
That's what we're saying all the time.
Yeah. And you have family support services, volunteer network. Volunteerism, that's a big thing in North America, as you know. Volunteerism.
That goes back to my point.
It's huge.
Community involvement, policy-wise, community involvement, implementation-wise, community involvement in strategizing and make sure everybody's involved. Once you have the community, once I feel I'm a part of a process, I would be more involved and put more energy and more focus more on it than you can say, here can just, okay, this is the way I wanted to do it, this is the way, and I can't give you my idea, I have to just go straight to the book. And yes. It's just, this is counterproductive. I'm not going to give you 100%.
Right. No, what we're doing tonight, we just starting up the discussion, right? We need to do so. We need to start at some point, right? We need to demand more from our leaders.
That's from my beginning. That's what I said. Society has basically lost the value of what it is to be, what it meant to be society.
Yes.
Society today is not really society. It's an individual society itself, but it's so many individualism that's going on, and just me and my family. Once me and my family, okay. Once me and my people, I'm okay. I don't care nothing about nobody else. This me. You go to school, as I say, you go to college, it's for you. You go get a do a job for you. You get money for you, and that's about it.
We're looking for individualistic. Yeah. And every man for himself.
Once we reach certain portion in our life, we look back at the people down in society, and sometimes we look down on them. The single parent, we look at them and be like, sometimes we would judge, and some of them are even our friends.
But we don't understand. We don't understand. If you
try to help them, we judge them, and we say.
But it's counterproductive, that approach, because if you don't help them, we plan to live in the same society. How's that going to benefit you?
But we don't think that way.
You have people in this society who are hungry and desperate, right? Who will resort to violent means to get what they want. You want peace, but you want peace. You want to have peace. You cannot live in the same society.
But our mindset, as we become more intellectual, as we become more educated, we put ourselves in a bubble, and we don't think about these things. We do not.
Kenny, let me stop you. You say become more educated. The old people say, Kenny, the old people say studiation is not education. You understand?
When they say education is a common sense, so
Studiation is not education. So a lot of people now studying.
much better than
People now studying like crazy, studying, but we ain't no better off.
yes.
That's what I'm saying. We become more educated, in quotation marks, more educated. What kind of knowledge are we imparting?
And I think that is the issue. You asked the question before, where do I think it when society went? I think it went where our foreparents push us to, okay, I want you to go to school, I want you to go get this education. We come out and then we try to elevate ourselves and we never try to get involved back in society and give back to society. We just try to elevate ourselves up, and then once we get up there, we want to be in our own bubble, and then
Let me give you my personal, let me give my personal story in a nutshell, right? And I left St. Vincent in 1988, January, right? And I came to Canada, right? But I happened to get a chance to go to university in 1990, right, and study social work. When I graduated in 1997, sorry, I went in 1994, graduated in 1997, right? I decided, wait a minute, I now have a little bit of know-how, strategy. I decided to go back to St. Vincent, right? On my own, to help to give back something to my country. So I stayed there from 1997 to 2009, right? Give it back, and that's it all. So when you go on your studies, right? How are you benefiting society? Because you have to. The reason why you go to study is so that you can gain knowledge, Kenny, and to go back to make something, to better things.
How many people you think have?
Right?
Out of 10 people at least who have that opportunity like you, have that similar at least approach or that similar opportunity, how many you think have that mindset?
They're not the problem.
You probably
They're
don't.
not the problem.
You
But
probably-
these people would criticize you back there and say, why you all on so and so, why you all on so and so, but what have they done? What have you done to make changes, to make things better?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So it's still America and still Canada. The point is that is the message the same thing.
The more degrees that we have, the more intelligent that we think we become, the more successful we think we become. You know,
gaps get wider.
you know what we say, you reach to the top and kick down the ladder.
You widen the gap. Can you try to go and talk to some of these people in some department? They will talk to you, right? They will talk to you. It's as if you're not on my level anymore. So watch it. So they miss the whole point. They miss the bus. They miss the whole point.
Yeah. So basically, society really has lost, and you know, it's sad that at least we have this situation. As I said, we before single parent at least situation is community and society. That's something that we have since maybe since the dawning of mankind. At least we have, but now we really opening up our eyes to see, and as we look back now to see what's really going on in terms of single parent and so on and so forth.
Single parents are left on the board.
Many people out there, they grow up in single parent
But they were not left on their own. They were not left on their own to struggle on their own.
Some of them are successful than you and I.
But they were not left on their own. They were not left on their own to struggle on their own. But now, today, they've been left on their own and being criticized and looked down upon, right? So now, it's almost like a taboo to say I'm a single parent family. It's like a taboo to even say that today.
Yeah, because at least a lot of people just, being just looked down. And I think that's where a lot of the anger from single parent. Because first of all, you don't have the time for yourself. Second of all, you don't have the resources. Third of all, you don't have the support. So I could see the frustration there, Could you imagine growing up in a house with two parents, you still have the frustration, the financial situation, the challenges, much as with having to pay the rent or pay a mortgage or pay, find food to go on the table. So, and we have these people this generation where we have at least their parent was this well, we say backward and quote unquote backwards, then we have them coming out the same thing. Nobody teaching them another way. And
There you go.
from that generation to that generation, there's no social program so that they
Nothing.
get them in that we could say, okay, then let's try to educate them. Let's get them the evening classes. Let's give them the cooking classes that they could do something, distract them a little bit, you know. Or let's,
No, no, but even after the cooking classes, so after you graduate from here, this is where we're going to employ you. This is where you are aiming. You will be employed here. You see what I'm saying? At this hotel or this whatever, or you have your own catering company, whatever. You will get to see the end of the road.
yeah.
You see? You know, I think we need to have a more
And I
focused
think to
focused
and
program.
I think to the economics more than anything else is value over everything else. Social
Of course.
value, social everything.
That's
Because
what I'm telling you.
people have to eat, people need to pay their stuff, people need money. So
That's what I'm telling you. Look at any country's social program budget. How much money been allocated to social program? You will know. You have an idea of what the society is going to be like.
well, instead of medicine, we have all the prime minister budget is like $700,000 for entertainment alone. And what social program do we have at least to help at least the community or society in dealing with this problem? It's basically, I don't think I have heard anything that comes up that has to deal with that. Look at our community center. At least our community center underutilized. They haven't done anything there. Look at even some of our agriculture facilities. Like look at Lacqua. That's like basically water fed plant. You know, all you get there's water fed. Instead of you have like a skill training, develop it to the skill training for some of these youths that at least give them something to be hopeful for. You know, you can't really focus. You can't focus on the parent alone, but because these children are getting big and they're coming up in society. Some of them is not educated. Some of them can't read and write. Some of them they don't, they don't have
Really?
skill.
I have
So
a slogan that I coined about a couple of years ago, and I'm going to print T-shirts and bumpers, stickers, and I need a sponsor to print all of things. This slogan is a very, very, very instructive slogan. Yeah? It goes like this, Ken. My mosquito is your mosquito. You understand?
yeah,
So if you in your yard, keeping your yard clean, no container with water and all, because you want to have festering of eggs and so on, then whatever mosquito, you do the best to keep, your yard free of all these things. Because you have a mosquito, but your neighbor next door have drums and they don't got full of water, breeding mosquitoes. Are they going to come over and bite you?
no, they will step on your property.
Okay then. Okay. So it's important. It's incumbent on you to make sure your neighbor is doing the same thing that you're doing, right?
Yes, it does.
Because his mosquito is your mosquito.
That's where that community spirit.
Exactly.
That,
So if you don't say about the neighbor's children, Kenny, if you don't have people, they're gonna come and to they're gonna build a nice little mansion, Kenny. They're gonna come and build a shack above your house and wait for you to go to work.
yeah.
To already.
Yep, that's
They're gonna squat right next to you.
Because
Yeah.
nobody reaching out to them, nobody giving them, nobody teaching them nothing, nobody.
And they're there. You can't get rid of them. They're not gonna go anywhere. They're right there.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with them. So it makes sense for you to deal with them now.
Yep.
Give them the tools they need to be better citizens. You can't ignore them. They're not going anywhere.
Some people would argue though, don't matter how some of them lazy stuff, but that if you give them, they won't.
No, but give them. No. Give them. Then you can say, I gave them, and they refuse it.
Right. But out of if there's 10 people and 5 of them come out and use it, it's
a win.
It's a win-win.
It's a win. It's a win.
Others who see those 5 gone and move on. He could trigger 1 or 2 out of the 5 that left want to be in problem. So
It's a win, yeah. Ah, boy.
yeah, it's a kind of sad situation.
We need to become more people focused and more community minded, more communal. Yeah, we need to. We can't continue where we're going, Kenny. looking down on people, looking at our single parents as if they're taboo, you know.
Yeah.
We should be praising our single parents because of the strength they have, those single mothers, boy. They create a lot of, they do a lot of good things.
They're stronger
You
than
know?
some of us folks. They're
And,
stronger
and
than
all
some
they
of
need
us.
is a little help, assistance.
Family.
Yeah, they need programs so they can see the way.
Yeah.
Programs, positive programs, so they can develop themselves. You know, so while they're at school, you have a program to deal with the children. While they're doing their own studies and so on and training, you have programs, social programs to deal with the children, help the children, so after-school program, whatever, taking care of that.
Yeah, and one of the issues at least that we have in St. Vincent, especially in St. Vincent, since we're on this thing here, because we know up there it's totally different in like US and Canada, because we have major social program to deal with kids and family issue. But one of the things at least I think that's happened in St. Vincent is that people are too entrenched politically and too attached to their political affiliated, because, for example, even though you have a social program that is coming in and I'm Labour Party and I'm running the program, and you're FP because I'm Labour Party, you don't want to get involved. Kind of approach that kind of, but that's why I said it's important that at least from a government perspective, that at least we get community involvement, community input, and so on and so forth, so that people, it would take away from that political aspect, that political affiliate. Okay, you come with your, whether you're NDP, whether you're Labour, let's come, let me talk together, let me see what you want, let me see what I could build, and that would take away all of that. But the political engine, the way the country set up, is not really geared for that. It's just geared towards
the leaders themselves have to give the input. They have to make a statement.
Yeah,
they have to make a declaration.
Yeah, our leaders as get involved in that individualistic thing and that selfish kind of approach. And our
leaders, you know what has to happen? This has to be a drastic change turnaround. The leaders have to go on camera, right? Go on camera, side by side, and say, look, man, as of today, we are taking this road. This is what we're going to do. We're going to work together. We have the same, our vision is to bring people together, right? Say, speak to the supporters. Say, look, man, guys, we have to stop this division. We have to stop this nonsense, right? You have to stop hating your brother because of your political affiliation.
Yeah.
It has to come from the leaders, come from their mouth, right? Come from their mouth. They have to say it physically. They have to say it.
Yeah, but if you notice the way how these things set up, it's like it was made by design. I think that was all of that was by design. You know, but our people, from at least as society change from into this individualistic kind of approach and community kind of approach, more people has become so fragmented and so, like, you know, once this society scattered, that you're not okay. When the sheep, all the sheep together, at least a prey don't afraid to attack. But once they scattered all over the place, easy to pick up.
Pick up one by one. Yeah.
That's the analogy, and that's the way the political system at least want to set up people and want to approach this kind of thing. And it affects
a lot.
really bad.
So much can be done. So much. Listen, man, I have a few friends up here who are retiring. Some retired already, and they say, look, man, they won't even go home to give back. They ask me, do you have any programs home that you can get involved with? They're waiting to go back into it, in the resources that's there to be tapped on. They're ready to go back and volunteer, not target, volunteer.
The communal approach right now alone cannot do it. It has to be a combination of communal and government approach, because people so believe in the government and so looking for the government for leadership of the government and to institute certain programs that it must be done from board.
Because government can make you do things, right? They can make you do things.
They can't make government do things that you change them and put other people in place.
So you have to, so when government does something, you have got to take that lead and run with it.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to want to be a part of the change, a part of the development, right? And then you can lobby government. Say, look, guys, this is what we need because we have a group here willing to run. You know, we want to hit the ground running. This is what we need. So. Give us this and don't worry, we handle it. Yes, sir? That community center, give us the paint. We'll paint it, don't worry.
Yeah, but everything has to have some kind of political
You
touch,
see?
and it's
So,
unfortunate. So
that's unfortunate. So we have to refocus. We have to focus. We have to focus.
yeah.
So, boy, I don't know. Well, the housing bill,
And I
the
said,
coalition government.
your topic tonight, it boils down to it's not one. It's not single parent, at least. It's not a single parent thing, but it's a us thing, a society thing. How we approach society, how society approach, situation, how we view things, and how we constantly it's change. Everything is changing so fast and changing in a way that nobody get a chance to look at certain things and look at certain people. We just getting lost within. As I said, we work together like a herd of sheep. Now we are over the place. So now we're just getting picked off.
Pick
Now
up the
today,
guns.
now
We come
it's
in together.
a single parent. Now it's a single parent. Soon it's gonna be the transvestite and the homosexual situation. Then it's gonna be but society at least try to stay together and government work with society. Then we have a problem. But unless we don't have that in small, especially in small island states like St. Vincent and the rest of the Caribbean, once we don't have that kind of collective approach.
I like how you said government working with society. You see? Because you understand, government are there, they are the administrators. But we really are the government here, Kenny.
Well, we
And you know, right?
are.
So the government has to work with us.
Yeah, but
We tell them what we need, and then they have to work along with us to achieve the goal, the overall goal, the end goal.
And it's sad that at least people think that at least, government, they're working, they're working for the government and stuff like that, and they don't hold government accountable for something.
We the government. We the government.
But I think the way that the political machinery set up is that people are afraid and people become so entrenched in terms of how they perceive things and.
But there's lack of information too. There's lack of information, lack of knowledge. To a large degree, lack of knowledge. They don't understand. They don't know their role. They don't know.
Sometimes it's intimidation.
Yeah, but you have boldness when you're knowledgeable, right? You have boldness when you're knowledgeable. Can you even do an exam, right? If you didn't study for the exam, you're gonna be so timid and so shaken in confidence as you enter the exam room, right? Because you didn't study, you have no information to tap on.
Yeah, but we have to take into consideration too, oh George. We out here in the bigger world, it's different than if you're in St. Vincent, because one little thing in St. Vincent can flip you upside down.
You better believe it, boy.
One little move, one little thing, somebody coming out, it could flip you upside down. Here we have different approach. We have at least a better way of handling things. But
well, we here the difference is here we have a wider safety net.
right.
Legally,
Politically,
the wider safety net. If there's no safety net, you will live on your own. Right? If you lose your house tomorrow, you have 4 kids in the house, you on your own, back to square one.
Yes.
There's no group that you can sign up with to get back your house or to take care of the children or to give it clothes. There's nothing.
Right. There's no social program, as we go back and say all night. There's no
You are
social
the one.
program, there's no social support program, there's no social program that leads to economic development.
And empowerment. Empowerment.
Right. And there's nothing no kind of skill training that could empower the youth to be innovative in terms of building their own machinery, become your own mechanic, get your own mechanic shop, or become a carpenter, become a mason, or invent something. be inventive about something,
Let me, I don't know if you realize it, for a couple of years now, right? Citizens have been sending some youth, young men and women, to this World Science Fair
exactly.
competition, right? In robotics, right? Robotics,
Right.
making a robot and getting a robot to do different things, competing with countries, all 100 and something countries, 90 something countries in the world, right? Civilians placed as high technology, placed 20 something or 30 something. They beat out Canada, America in robotics, eh?
We got a lot of talk. We got a lot of
I
talking
have
to do.
two nephews who are on that program. They went twice to Dubai and somewhere else and other country. They done. You want to tell me how can we not make it? How can we don't? Look, man, government supposed to stop in on this thing. And
No, we
they
all
came back home, Simmons and the fanfare. You know about science, robotics, eh?
as I said, we have a bunch of coward as leaders in the
Those
Caribbean.
guys can develop things to make things for the hospitals and so on and different things. These are young brains ready to go.
Yeah, and now there are a lot of them into like computers, a lot of them into
Yes, these guys compete with the best in the world with limited resources.
yes.
You know,
But and our leaders, all they just look at is power, power, power.
I mean, we have to go in a science direction, sort of innovation, science, and we have to go.
We could do better. We really could do better.
Have
As
to
when I was
go.
one of the things when I was growing up, when I was in primary school, they used to have woodworking, build
Oh yeah,
shelves, build
I used
beds.
to
I was,
I used to
I was
build
never, I was never
bookshelves and tall racks and so on and all that. Yeah.
right. Because I was never, I didn't, because I went common entrance class and then I went to high school afterwards. But the, those guys who didn't go to common entrance class and pass going up to like, senior one, back in the day, senior one and so on,
Yeah.
they was given the opportunity to build something, I know this guy Bullock from I came in school used to do, they used to have, they have the girl used to do cooking, learn to
Mm-hmm.
bake and stuff like that. They had the stuff there, and beside that, they have the boys used to do woodwork and all of that. None of that is in school. There's no technical, nothing except for computer, which is computers not a necessity in school.
Mm.
Computer well, it's not a luxury in school, or it's not something. It's a necessity, I should say. Computer is a necessity in school,
It's
so
not a
you can't.
luxury. Oh, it's a necessity. Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
necessity in school. That definitely should be part of the curriculum. So you can't even think about say, well, have computers because that's something that's across the board that
It's a given.
right.
You
That's
have
a
to
given.
have it.
Right. But something like plumbing, something like you know woodworking, carpentry, masonry, even mechanics, electrical work. You, you can't wait until the children at least reach what? You come out and they're on the street and then you call them lazy.
Yes, you never had a chance. You never had a chance.
Because they give them a work and that's not their kind of work that they want to do, you call them lazy. You say they're lazy. You say they're this.
Can,
You know?
the whole education system needs to be revamped because a lot of kids are not book oriented. I would say, right? You see, so we need to be able to select and group them in different. Okay, this guy is not really a bookworm. Let me send him to do carpentry, but and at the same time, he'll learn enough book knowledge, right, to handle carpentry. The relevant information needs to know, reading and so on, and mathematics and so on, basic math, whatever, to be able to get through that carpentry or whatever, right? But it's not all about blackboard and chalk, right? The
Yes.
skills is important, okay? The skills is important. Electrician, plumbing,
Yeah,
masonry,
not
carpentry. The skills are important.
yes, not everybody is cut off for the economical, the economic. But at
But
the
we put
same
some
time,
emphasis on book learning.
yeah, but at the same time, you have people who go through like the secondary system and the secondary, and some of them they hardly come out and they can't read efficiently. They can't, and then because there's no skill program there either. So it's like, what do you do? So at least there's a fundamental systematic issue that's going on in terms of a distract from what is necessary in terms of the society
Mhm.
and what societies need, from what the government wants to do and from what the government wants to implement it. And as I said before, if there is not that need of what community wants and what government is willing to do to work hand in hand to make sure that community, if you notice, most of those community, those countries that are surviving are striving, is that they have community involvement. They look at the needs of the community. They work with the community. They talk to the community. How could we help you? What social program that we could go on to help the single mothers, to help the single fathers, to help people who are struggling,
Here, here in Montreal, if you want to get into university in the adult program, right? Even college, you have to, if you can list, they ask you what level of community involvement do you have. And the more you involve in community levels, right, the more association organization you have, it's better for you, eh? They give preference to people who are more involved in community building.
because we had that
So
naturally.
that's encouraged.
We had that naturally and we had that for free. Back
For
in
free.
the days, we had that,
Exactly.
but they
Exactly.
recognize as we become complicated and as we look to advance ourselves in terms of education and become this individualistic thing, we become individual and we focus on ourselves. Government should recognize that we have to bring back social programs with
Social programs.
that could help elevate and keep some kind of level of standard, some kind of value.
And
Otherwise,
discipline and the discipline that's needed.
otherwise we're gonna have this conversation where we look at single parent, single parent. Oh, how could we do the divide between single parent? How, what is the problem with single parent? And then we start to build something, not and missing the whole big
We
picture.
have to change our attitude towards single parents, right? Remove the stigma. Right? There's nothing wrong with a single parent. There's nothing wrong with a single mother or single father. There's nothing wrong. We have to elevate, we have to encourage them and provide for them the necessities so that they can do the job that they have at hand. Now they have a double task. It's doubly hard for a single parent to achieve what two parents won't have achieved. So the state needs to meet them halfway, Kenny.
Yes, it boils down to what the government at least try to implement.
So you
Because
provide
society,
nothing, but you still need put fingers and things.
conjuncture, society is not going to do it on its own. Society is not going to do it on its own.
Mhm. It has to have a lead from somebody.
That communal kind of value and stuff that we had back then, and there are some of us who had that experience. We look at it, oh, we wish we like the old time. We gotta be realistic. That's out of the door.
Mm.
What we have to focus now is integrating program with the government and the community to come together, come up with programs, come up with strategies that at least they could implement and have the community involved from start to finish. So at least once you hand over the program, the community would take it over because they know they've invested their time and energy, their input is inside of it. So they would actually have
But they're the ones who have to run the program. They're the ones who have the power to run the program.
issues that we're talking about, single parent and the issue and how they take care of the kids. Some of these we will try. We can't tackle all the problem. We can't get rid of all the problem. We're not gonna get rid of, but at least we try to address it and come up with some solution that at least we could have a better society and have a better.
The answer is right there in the community. If you ask the people, they will tell you the answer is right there. They have the answer there.
Yeah.
They have the answer, but you have to talk to them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Implementing the program without community involvement is coming to.
It doesn't make sense. It won't work.
No.
It won't work.
No.
What can it be? Before you go, let me tell you. I know you're big up student. My alumni information. We're planning a massive reunion in October,
Okay.
and we have a lot of different programs going. School feeding program we're trying to get going. A lot of kids go in school without food and all that, breakfast and so on and all that and so on. It's bad. So the folks in North America and Simpson, we have the association form, and we have a massive reunion in October. So people like me, over 40 years, never graduated from school. So we'll have a graduation and all that, you know. Yeah, so I'm gonna reach out to you. Yeah, being an experienced person in these matters. Yeah.
Well, we have my organization. What we probably gonna for September is focus on Union Island and giving back to the Union Island. A lot of school we actually give back to a lot of school around the Mesopotamia area, Canaan School, Evesham School, Mespo School, Greg's Community Primary School, and next we were trying to go over to Lomans, but seeing with the all the issue that went on in Union Island and the devastation that was down there, at least I was having a chat with Sister Jessie, so she was like, she gives the idea. So that's something that we're focusing on.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so we have a community outreach program that at least we're trying to look at, and we're looking into a reunion too for next year too, for past student for Marco Secondary School, St. Joseph Convent, Marco.
What year?
Hi?
What year?
Everybody, past student.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we are still do.
We're gonna make it an event, not a one-day event, but it's like a couple days event. It's still it's in the initial planning phase, so
Right.
I can't.
So we have a week of activities with high school, and and everybody is going to be included. Folks have not graduated for 40 years. I've not met each other since 40 years. So I'll be meeting is really big. The Independence Weekend. And so we will focus on school. So I would say, Kenny, we will do it bit by bit. You do your bit mark. We don't do it in high school. Bit by bit.
Yeah, we're trying to do it as a fundraiser reunion kind of thing. So
yeah, we should try to man. Yeah.
To get
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for your input, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I expect another guest coming on later. I'm not sure if they'll still be in the queue lineup. Yeah, but I hope that you've started an important discussion. I hope that this would not end here.
Well, at least you hope, at least every time you have a discussion or something, you always hope that at least there's something fruitful.
Because if you get people thinking, start thinking, about mentoring somebody. Find somebody to mentor. Become a mentor to somebody.
Right.
Somebody, find somebody.
Do something, you're something you don't want to mentor. Matter of fact, just give back and just reach out to certain, give back, reach out to a family. If you see like the single parent in a community that you grew up in and they're struggling, you could be like, okay, can I buy them the school, help with the school supply? You reach out to them, how could I help you? And so that too.
What I'm gonna say here right now, I'm gonna trade out right now. I'm gonna trade out right now. I feel led to trade out right now. Anybody who's viewing this program tonight, if you know of a single parent who's desperate in need of help in any way, right? Contact you, Kenny, or contact me. Inbox us and give me the information, right? Yeah. Any single parent. So if you know any single parent, get one for Kenny and one for me, right? Inbox us and we will get the help to them as soon as possible. We can't stop, Kenny. We can't stop.
As I said, we all gotta play our part in the community. We can't just go up and kick down the ladder. Just get up and say, okay.
No.
So.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Folks, we have it, man. Thanks a lot, my brother. All the best to you guys in New York. I hope you have good weather in New York. In New Jersey.
We had some good weather. It was raining this morning, but
here too.
Warmed up a little bit. So
it's beautiful here. We had plus 10 degrees and so on. So we good. Good.
All right, brother.
We good. All right, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
And all the best, buddy.
I appreciate it. All the best to you.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night, brother.
You too.
All righty. Folks, there was Kenny Brown out of New Jersey. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. I expect some other people coming on tonight, but maybe time has already gone. But if they come on, I'll still accommodate them. Right? I'll still accommodate them. Boy, we have to start from somewhere. As Diana said and Suzette said, We have to have the community approach. We have to start that way. Start talking to each other. The community has to know what they want, and after deciding what they want, they have to move forward with their requests and know how to demand what they want, how to demand it, how to make sure it happens. Because you can't have a good country if you have weak communities, and you can't have a strong community if you have weak families. It's simple as that. So you can't want to get ahead, but at the same time you're leaving behind families. You stop talking to people. You're ignoring your neighbor. That's counterproductive. Everybody wants to get ahead. Everybody wants to get an education, and after get the education, then that's it. Good night to you, Sister Ralph. Yeah, everybody wants to study this and study that, which is good. But after they finish studying, they can't talk to them. They think they're better than you. That is so silly. They think they're better than you. People in offices, you go and talk to them, and they talk to you anyhow because they see you as lesser than. How are you going to build a good community like that? People talk to you depending on your social status. They give you attention based on your social status. That's nonsense. I mean, they miss the whole point. They miss the whole point. You go into the office and they don't want to say good morning to you. They miss the whole point. And I'm going to be particularly hard on people who are trained in social workers. Should be the ones who advocate for people who don't have a voice. Don't have a voice. We have a lot of social workers in my profession who are just terrible people, terrible workers. They're the ones who help to keep people pressured down. You go to them asking for help, and boy, the way they talk to you, wonder, my God, are they really social workers? So in every profession, you have these people who are there who should not be there. Nursing, police, teachers, social workers, lawyers, they should not be there dealing with people. And the thing is, sometimes in St. Vincent and other countries, there's no recourse. There's nobody to really complain to. There's no recourse. So you feel so powerless and helpless. You call your tail between your legs and you go up in the corner and you sulk and you suffer silently. Your stress level goes up. A lot of people drop in the fight. I believe a lot of people dying today so far because of stress, and stress-related illnesses. I believe that. Heart attacks and all continuing, stress. Because people stop talking to each other, so each person's trying to bear the burden alone. Stress. You're afraid to talk to me because you're going to take your business out on the street and all of that. You're going to criticize you. Stress. You can't feed the kids at home. You can't tell anybody because they're going to look down on you. Look at you as a bad parent, a worthless parent. You go to work, your boss at work start to curse you because they know you need a job. They start to degrade you and all that, and you can't do nothing about it because you need a job. Stress. You go to church and you complain to your pastor what happened, and the pastor go to church and up and he started preaching the same Sunday morning. Stress. No place to hide, no place to run to. You can't find anybody who's confidential in anything. Stress. So people dying like crazy. You listen to the death announcement. When I was growing up, death announcement used to be for like 3 minutes, 1 or 2 persons. Now it's like an hour. I don't know. I've listened for a long time, but last time I listened was more than half an hour. Yeah. Leno says stress messes with the heart. Of course, Leno. They mess with the heart. People cannot talk and they keep things inside. They're afraid to talk. They can't even trust people to tell what's inside the heart. There's just distrust among people. You can't trust anybody at all. You go to the very counselor, and the counselor is going to tell the business to everybody else. You go to the hospital with a condition, and the nurse calls a friend, guess who was there? You can't trust it. The lack of professionalism is so obvious in many societies. So people stop talking. They keeping things bottled up inside, and that's going to blow them. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. And when people go off the tangent and get mentally, really mental, and then look at you and point fingers, you hate so gone crazy. And they start to criticize you and say, good for she. She must be crazy, and they start to say all the bad things about you. And they have all the opinions as to why you went nuts. Stress. People not talking to each other. The environment is not user-friendly. It's not safe to say. Even if you go to a meeting, you ever see you go to a workshop, you at work, co-workers go to a workshop, you can't even say some personal things at a workshop because you don't feel safe talking among your co-workers at a workshop because they're going to take your information and go outside and run with it and spread the name all over the place. There's no safe place that you can say what's really bugging you. Isn't that terrible? Yeah. Awareness is terrible. Awareness, you're right, it's terrible. It's sad. Is that the kind of country we want to have? So, oh my God. So last week, the week before, we were talking about people eating right and trying to stay healthy. But mental health is as important as physical health. Because your body is physically well, but if mentally you're not sound, it doesn't make sense. So mental health has to be taken care of. Know when to take a break from work, know when to, not to say anything to people who are news carriers. That's the thing, a lot of us talk too much. You know somebody's a news carrier, what are you telling your business for? Learn to speak less. Be wise. Oh my God, be wise. You don't need a whole bus of friends. You need one or two personal friends. You don't need a whole truckload of friends, so-called friends. A lot of people is trying to fit in. Don't try to fit in. I tell somebody, it was just today, when it was, I was talking to my mother yesterday, and she was watching TV. I was watching a TV show with her, and this girl on TV was saying that she wanted to get this designer to give her some clothes with the in clothes so she can fit in. So I told my mom, I said, look at her, she want to fit in rather than trying to stand out. You want to fit in. Don't try to fit in. Learn, try to stand out. Don't be part of the crowd. What do you want to fit in for? Stand out. Be different. So we will teach our children how to learn how to stand out. Be different. Be different. Don't say, my son when he was younger came and said, Dad, everybody's doing it. I said, no, everybody. I said, are you doing it? No. So everybody's not doing it. Don't buy into that slogan and phrase, everybody's doing it. No. If you're not doing it, you are not. So everybody's not doing it because you are different. So don't put me in everybody category. Teach your kids to speak like that. Stand out. There's nothing wrong with standing out. See? Stand out. Be different. Dare to be different. That's what we have to teach our children. Yeah, don't try and fit in. You kill yourself to buy the latest sneakers for son. You can't buy food, but you have to buy because the child tell you everybody at school have a Jordan. They have this, everybody have this Air Jordan. No, so what? I said, so what? Don't kill yourself. You go to find $400 to buy a sneaker for a child and can't pay his school fee. They own two of school fees because you want him to fit in. Adina says people don't want to be leaders but follow. Adina, that is so true. Learn, do something so people can, you know what? There's a guy, a friend of mine was telling me, when it was, something he did on, I don't know if it's a recipe he had or whatever, and he said to me, George, I came up with this idea, and somebody in St. Vincent copied the idea. I said, man, so you don't feel good? He said, no, I mean, I said, man, you're a leader. You're a leader. You came up with something, somebody in another country copied it. They're following you. You set a trend, a new trend, you set the pace. I said, man, feel good about yourself. You have people following you. So we have got to learn how to feel good about being leaders. If somebody copies you, follows you, that's okay. That's your point. Lead the way. You're not a follower, you're leading. Let them follow you. So you keep setting the bar higher and higher and higher and higher. So the more they follow you, when they think they have a grip on you, you go on to another level. So they spend the whole life trying to follow you. But you're leading. You don't have to be a follower. You don't have to be a follower. There's sometimes when you have to follow. Because leaders has got to be followers, yeah? That's another different twist to the whole thing. Before you can, because when I was in the cadets, where as a recruit and a private boy, as a recruit, everybody give me orders as a recruit, giving me orders. I can't wait to become a private to start giving the recruits orders. But as a recruit, I learned to take orders. They wanted to be a private, all the corporals and give me orders. I can't wait to be a corporal. Then I became a corporal and start giving orders to the lance corporal. And yeah, but you got first have got to learn how to follow. Then when you get in a position, you're going to be leading to. But some people, boy, they don't know how to follow. And all they want to do is lead and they have no idea where they're going. And all they want to do is lead you. And you know differently, and if you don't follow them down the destructive lane road, you become public enemy number one. But if someone's leading you in the wrong direction, you got to know how to jump off that shift. Hey, I ain't going that way. I'm not going that way. You're going off track. Somebody gives you an order to carry out. If the order is not a legal one, a lawful one, don't follow it. Don't follow it. If the order is not lawful, it's not legal, it's not a lawful order, do not follow it. So you learn how to think, be your own person, be your own woman, be your own man, have your own mind, think for yourself. At the end of the day, you're going to blame you and say you had no right to follow that person, what they told you, because you know it's not right. Why did you comply with that instruction? And you know it's unlawful. You know it wasn't right. You can't say, well, she was a manager. Yeah. So the manager tells you to go and break the bank, you're going to break the bank. At some point, you have to learn to think for yourself. Boy. So I wish I expect my other guests. I don't think they probably will be coming on tonight. I wish I had. We had a young lady from Barbados who was supposed to be joining me tonight. I haven't heard her. I don't know why. So maybe she just, I don't know. But she had a lot to say, boy. She had a lot to say. She was coming on to blaze fire in this program tonight. Oh my God. She was going to blaze fire in this program tonight. But I haven't heard her. So that gap is that space. Folks, if anyone you want to jump in, please jump in now because we're going to close in a short while. And yes, if you know of a single parent, a single mother who really needs help in any way, shape, or form, needs somebody to talk to, inbox me. If you have two people, I've taken two. I'll take one and give one to Kenny. Yeah, you gotta let the change begin with you. A lot of single parents in St. Vincent, especially, who are under enormous pressure, man, immense pressure, right? They're breaking in the seams, man. They just tomorrow they don't know how they're gonna eat, they're gonna find breakfast for their children. Some child has to go to school Monday, some will school on Friday because everybody can't go the same day because there's no money to pay transportation. It's a reality, you know. That's a lot of people's realities in St. Vincent. I talk to people. Some parents send their children to school hoping that they'll get something to eat at school from somebody. That's a lot of people's reality. Sometimes when we have it good, you know, we can't imagine somebody is not eating. There are people out there, man, who haven't eaten on a regular basis, man, who do not eat on a regular basis. It's touch and go. Touch and go. When they eat what they can get to eat. So the diet is compromised. So all kinds of things develop in their system that shouldn't be there because of what they eat. So all well and good to say, yes, eat right, eat balanced diet, but you have to break it down and look closely, bring it home to what people's realities are. Well, a diner, I've been taking those stuff that you get. Well, Adina is on. Adina Neverson, she is my herbalist. She is my herbalist, I tell you. Adina sent me my package of was bowel cleanser, parasite cleanser. What was the other one? What's the other one that Dinah? Oh, yeah, stuff for the liver and kidneys and all that. And my goodness, man. Oh, metallic for the metals, cleansing. Yeah, cleansing metals. I've been taking that almost 2 weeks now. I have one, actually tomorrow will be my final day of taking it, Adina. And boy, I see some serious changes. And Dinah, you're good, eh? But I want Kenton to be on it with me because I want to tell him, I want to say something, but he was supposed to be on tonight, but he has some other issues. Yeah. I want it to be, liver, liver and gallbladder and the blood, blood cleanse, yes. Yes, I'm going to start in the blood one, the gallbladder one, maybe tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, Saturday. Yes, as instructed by Adina. Folks, Adina Neverson, she knows her stuff. Right? I started to cleanse my system, total cleansing my system, my bowels and so on, cleansing my gut, take care of my gut and all, and the heavy metal, all them old medication that you used to take and have stuff build up in your intestine, in your colon and all, the block and everything. Man, when you flush that out, you are so much energized. Dynamite, I'm stepping light now, man. I'm stepping light. I told my mother about you. We were going to call you yesterday, but she's going to give you a call. My mother's 87 years old, and she's going to give a Dinah a call. Yeah. Boy, so I want Kenton to come on because I heard Kenton bragging about a Dinah for like over a year. I said, well, I got to call this lady. I never called her. And Kenton's bragging about how this and how that, how good. But when I decided to call her Dinah and start taking the stuff from Dinah, I now see what he was talking about. So I can now testify, So, oh boy, I feel so good, man. So I'm telling everybody I know, look, man, you guys got to start taking care of your health. But first, start by flushing the system. Do a flush, clean out the system, clean the bowels, clean the system out, clean up the system, and once the system is clean, man, you have more energy, you have more. A lot of things I used to, aches and pains I used to complain about, I don't reckon they're gone. Yeah, I feel so much lighter. I'm stepping light. Hey, Desiree, good night, my dad. Desiree, we beautiful it covers in it. Yeah, Desiree, you missed the whole program, girl. But you can go back and see what you missed. Desiree, you need to come to my house. You need to come. I need some Tupperware arrangement. Right? You need to come to my house. I told you when I move, I'm going to have you come and show me how to organize my fridge and all that and so on. See how my house is situated so you can know what, you can instruct me as to what to get to put where, right? That's really, you're my Tupperware advisor, right? So there is a she can watch it. Yeah, please do that. Please, you'll find it very interesting, right? So Dinah says will only get better in here. I can't wait to take that blood thing. I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, well, that's really so I'll give a call, tell you exactly when I'm ready, right? That's when you're going to call a Dinah, man. Boy, I'm telling you. But Dinah, if I'm feeling this way now, I'm not even finished yet with the whole dosage and everything. I haven't started the other one yet. I'm feeling this way now. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm going to, get Kenton won't come on tonight. He won't come on tonight. No, he won't come on tonight. Because I want to, he thinks he don't can brag about you, but I can brag about you now because I see for myself. But them capsules kind of big, Oh my, those capsules, those capsules, boy, they kind of big, eh? Yeah, so that's where you gotta come by me and organize, and then I gotta get to give a Dinah call. But don't let your husband call her too, because I know if he call her, I know if he start taking the stuff that she giving him, you better start taking it too, because if Reggie get that whole of that stuff and you don't have it, right? That's when you're going to be in serious trouble, eh? If Reggie get hold of stuff and you don't get a hold of it, you will be in serious trouble. Trust me in that one. So I advise you, do not take anything from Diana unless your husband is on the same plan at the same time, right? Don't do it. Oh boy, I see Kenton trying to get on. Yeah, it's still adding. I hope he can get on. But he did tell me why he couldn't get on last time, you know. But I hope by some miracle Kenton can get on tonight. I know he really wants to come on, but so Jerry says she will start on the first. The first of when the first of May. Yeah, you're on the first of May. No man, you can't. You can't. The first of May. Boy, cancel. I'm trying to yeah, because I sent a request before, so maybe I don't know. I sent them a request before. Yeah, yeah, Kens, I sent you a request before. I don't know. It's not popping up again. It's not popping up again. I really want you to come on because I really want. Yeah, so try again. I saw your request again. So let me try this again. All right. Let me try it again. Yeah, I'm accepting you. Don't know why it's not coming on. I think it can zoom only because he's using his data. That could be a reason. It says it's adding you, but it's not actually adding you. It's still saying adding. You know, and maybe he's not using the Wi-Fi. I don't know, but that should not be an issue. My other guest came on tonight with no problem. Yeah. Oh, but Kenson, I'm sorry if you can't come on, but I know the feeling, but folks at Dinah Neverson, please inbox her, right? Inbox her, right? Talk to her. If you have any issues with your system, with your body, with whatever, just have a conversation with her. It doesn't cost you a cent to talk to her. So that's why, yeah, you gotta start on this before Reggie. Don't go on anything except don't go on anything just like that, eh? Don't do it because if you do that, boy, no, I can't really, I can't guarantee you that. No, please don't do it. Don't do it without your husband. If he's not on the program, don't start it by yourself. I will not advise you. If he's on the program and you're not on the program, then that could be very problematic for you, right? So either way, yeah, Kansas probably is your data. Probably is that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm adding you. It's saying that you've been added, but somehow it's not translating into you coming on. Yeah, so I can't figure that one out. So maybe it's a Wi-Fi problem. We have to fix that, man. We gotta fix that, man. We gotta fix that. I'm gonna try and see. I don't know. Cancel. Maybe we gotta meet tomorrow. Then give you a